Hello guys, it's I Want Super 19 again, and this is going to be a very different video. This is going to be a long format video, primarily because I don't think there is many videos. I didn't do much research to be honest, but there isn't much videos on how to design your own cyber decks. There's videos on people putting together their own cyber deck or a cyber deck they got from a 3D online website, but there's no like custom-made cyber deck tutorial like, hey, make your own custom-made cyber deck. And so I just want to hear and so I thought it'd be a cool idea if I show you how to do it. Now, again, this is uncut and unclear. Unclear. I'm already making mistakes. I probably have to cut that. No, I'm kidding. This is the uncut version, so you're probably gonna hear me making mistake like just now. And another mistake is like the actual modeling, because I make a lot of mistake when I'm modeling. So if you're gonna follow along, just please be patient with me and understand that those mistakes actually help you in the long run. Now, I do expect you to have some Blender knowledge or 3D in general. It doesn't have to be Blender. It can be, CAD, Autodesk, any of those kind of 3D softwares. And I do expect you to have the knowledge. A couple months, maybe. The more you have, the better it is, obviously. But if you're new and you still want to try to follow along, feel free to. Um, so yeah, enough yapping, and let's get straight into it. No, I'm kidding. So what you want to do is you want to go and find PureRef. You can look it up on Google, whatever, and download it. It's free for Windows, Linux, whatever operating system you have. And you want to also go on Google again and look up CyberDecks, primarily the ones you want to make. So you can want to make maybe a compact one, maybe something I have. Now I have different various ones, and I don't know which I'm going with. We'll see that later. It can be whichever. Now I like these ones, but then I also like the smaller one, like this one. So I haven't really decided. So we'll figure it out as we go. And you've probably seen this one, and just find the ones you want to do, whether it's small or big, whatever it is. And also make sure you have your components listed so you know what the sizes are. Now this is not perfect sizing. Actually, a lot of this is rounded up as what I did to make this easier for myself. But we're going to be using a Raspberry Pi, a 7-inch display. We're going to be using one of those fans, or maybe two. I haven't decided that yet. Again, this is real time. This is me designing real time, so I don't know what I'm doing, at least for now. And we're using the M2 5x10. Now, there's a lot of screws you can do. It's just I found the 3D file for that, because making screws is pretty hard in 3D in general, like making it accurate. So this is what I found. And lastly, we're going to use this small Bluetooth compact keyboard. The size is on there, so that's why I'm going to put the size. Again, this is a Raspberry Pi 5, but you can use 4, whatever it is. And yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, as you can see, they're really different. I'm probably gonna make something like this. Wow, this is really great quality. But I think that's kind of like the simpler one to make, in my opinion. But again, you can add more to it, you can add less to it. It's really up to you, because it's a cyber deck. You can go. And one last thing is like I said, this is not going to be that practical, even though cyber decks are supposed to be what some are practical, because I'm not assembling this. So I'm just gonna, if I don't get the measurements right or the screws right or whatever, who cares, you know what I mean? But if you really want to make this for yourself, make sure you get the measurements very accurate, and also make sure you get the screws accurate. The model you can find on like Sketchfab, TurboSquid. I'll show you how to actually use a screw in 3D. And again, this all goes back into like using Cura and what kind of 3D printer you have. It's a lot of setting, adjustment, and tuning, and it's just tedious in my opinion. So I'm not going to show you how to make the whole thing, but I'm going to show you how to make the main part of it, which is I feel like would be the design really. And yeah, so I'm going to take this away from you, and hopefully you've already found your own by now. Yep, you don't see anymore. So I'm going to put this on my other screen and just record or show you how to make it. Now you might have a cube, get rid of it as always. And what we're gonna do is start with the cube. Wow, couldn't see that coming, right? Sorry, I like to be sarcastic sometimes. And oh wow, we're already off to a horrible start. So you want to set up your imperial to American measurements, which is millimeters. I'm weird, so I understand millimeters. I don't know if they're American or not. This is actually dumb American moment right now for me, because I don't know if millimeters are American. I know kilometers are, no, not even kilometers, miles. But you want to set it to millimeters. That's how it works best. Actually, everything in my PureRef is set in millimeters, the measurements and everything. So let's get rid of that, insert it again, and size it up. So what you want to make initially is I mean, you can start anywhere, to be honest. I mean, you can just start with a pie, and then you can just make the size of it like fakey size kind of thing. So the pie is going to be 85 this way, and then 56 that way. Wow, that's not right at all. Again, this is not a professional tutorial, so please give me a second. So we got a Raspberry Pi size. Now you can find a model of Raspberry Pi and actually have it, you know, one-to-one accurate representation of it. But now this is good enough just to kind of see the size different. So I'm gonna put that away and then make my second component, which would be the probably the LCD screen. So I got my LCD here, or display or whatever. So again, you can do this various ways, kind of only two ways to be honest. And you can do the tolerance route, which means you have to get things like accurate to measure if you don't want to use any screws, which I prefer, but it's actually really hard and you have to do a lot of test prints and such. I don't know, printer doesn't really matter, it's your settings to be honest. And, you know, but you can also go the screw route, and again, that's a lot of measuring, which I don't like doing. So again, this is just, like I said, modeling focused and not really measurement focused. So this is going to be my fan, so I'm going to tile this to fan. And then actually I'm going to import the screw, and then I'm not going to model it. So we got our screw right here. I don't know which website I got it from, but it was a 3D website. And it's just going to be one of them, not two. And it's transparent because I use it on a different project for bullying it, but you don't have to worry about. Oh wow, I'm resizing it. You're not supposed to resize it. It's supposed to be accurate. Wow, look at me going. Whoops. So again, once you find the model, don't resize it unless, or if it's not sized right, size it correctly and then keep it that way. This one actually was not sized correctly, so I had to find the actual screw dimensions and whatnot. And lastly, we got the keyboard. So again, I like to put things in orderly fashion to make things easier for me, especially for a tutorial. I actually don't do this when I'm not making a tutorial. Everything is a mess, but I wanted this to be as easy for you as possible. I'm going to call this components, probably spelled it wrong. Components. All right, and so we're going to put these aside and just start to duplicate and see our sizing. So I think the two biggest things would be obviously it's actually there, would be the keyboard and the display. So I'm gonna just import these right here, and we already kind of got a CYBERDECK looking thing. So let's just imagine this is my CYBERDECK without any, wow, great orientation, without any designs or anything. So it just looks like a laptop, to be honest, like a mini laptop, but I guess that's what a CYBERDECK is really. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finally import a cube, and I'm just gonna make it as, you know, as big as the keyboard, kind of, but not really. Just have some tolerance in there, because again, we want to give room for breathing a little. Now the keyboard would have to be a tolerance thing, not a screw thing, because unless you have screws on your keyboard, which I don't think many do. So you definitely have to size it up to the correct tolerance of the keyboard. Alright, we got our keyboard. Eehee. Wow, that sounded weird. So we got our keyboard. Let's imagine this is our keyboard. I like to bevel it usually, so you're going to go in your modifier and look up bevel, because again, I put this in my favorite. You can put it in your favorite by right-clicking and then pressing favorites. I think I might have just missed that. Wow, good job. Oh man, this is going to be a long tutorial. Assign it. What is this? Quick favorite. You get it. And I like to give it a 4. Again, all my designs are kind of similar. Like, I don't know if I mentioned a different tutorial, but I like my things cornered or not sharpened, just kind of gives a futuristic design. So while that's it, we're gonna, like I said, give it some room to breathe, and then we're gonna, what do you call it, indent it? That's not indenting. You're gonna press I, and then you're gonna go down on your thing. Wow. I am so sorry. This thing comes to me sort of second nature at this point. So I am trying my best to talk while doing this, because I don't want to give you the fakey, oh, you know, this is how you do it. So again, this really depends on the keyboard thickness of your keyboard. So I don't know how thick your keyboard is, but this also depends on your preferences. Like, I don't know how thick you want it. Sounded weird again. And again, going, oh wow, I just deleted, great job. I'm gonna look at my reference real quick and see what I want to do. All right, after some figuring out, I'm really bad at concepting, but so my idea is, I don't know, I actually don't know yet. So putting the Raspberry Pi on the back of the display, I think is pretty good and compact in my opinion. And I was gonna add these like rotation things, I don't know what you call them, but like sort of like ridges on the edge like that, and then just, you know, rotates, depends on the axis. Again, this is all have to be functional, so that's kind of the hard part. So I'm gonna just, again, I'm not good at concepting. I'm good at making adding details, but that's kind of it. So I don't think that's a good idea either. I wonder if we add space between it. So I made this kind of rotating thing, as you'd imagine. Again, just concepting right now. I'm not really making this practical in any way, shape, or form. And that's what you have to do, is you have to play around outside the rules for a bit, just so you can see what you like and you don't like. And so far, I think this is kind of heading in the right direction. I don't know about the right direction, but I think we make this a little smaller, probably a little better. Wow, great. Don't know. I don't know if you notice, I really do struggle with my axis. I don't know which axis, well, I do know which axis is which, but I tend to forget pretty easily. We can have a hit, well, huh. I just realized this is the screen and this is the Raspberry Pi, so that wouldn't make any sense. So you actually have to make a border for them so they can be intact. Otherwise it's just a naked screen, which doesn't really help our purposes right here. Again, probably a better alternative than whatever I'm making is getting a heavy-duty box from like Home Depot or like a small one from Walmart or something, and then just 3D printing. What do you call it? You 3D print like sections for your thing, and then just like measure it up based on the heavy-duty case. There's a lot of tutorials on that stuff, so that one's probably a lot easier to do because it's the thing for you is kind of pre-made. But I think with 3D printing it gives you more room to play with, and you can probably make a lot more compact than what the heavy-duty, because they come in various sizes, but they're all mostly big sizes. All right, something like this would probably do. Again, the Raspberry Pi being in the back is probably good. Kind of sort of looks like a laptop, but we'll change that, don't worry about it. And then we got the fan, which is kind of the last thing we need to add. So the fan, you can really, I don't know, it's just sort of for your Raspberry Pi. Now with the fan, you can put it anywhere. Not really. Actually, I'm not sure how you would do this unless you make a case for the Raspberry Pi. Oh, so I got the measurements wrong. There we go. I'm like, something looks weird. So I guess what you can do is, wait, doesn't Blender have pen? I'm pretty sure it does, right? All right, excuse my horrible markings, but I was thinking maybe I can make a cutout in this thing, and then I can put the Raspberry Pi on top of it. But that would only cool the bottom of the Pi, so that doesn't really do me justice. What we can also do is we can flip the Pi so the back or the CPU would be facing this, which would leave a little bit of room in here. So that means you got to use really long screws, but I think those screws are long enough. So that's another way to do it. You can also make this thing thicker. Not this, what am I highlighting there? You can make the bottom of this thicker, and then you can just make a cutout where the Raspberry Pi would be coming like from below, and it can connect to the screen from there. Also, I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning, but know where your ports are, like for plugging in and whatnot, because that matters a lot, because you can only have so much wiring, and also helps with wiring in general. But I don't know what I want to do. Because part of me doesn't want to make this thick. That's just, I don't know. That's just too much printing. Also, that you gotta take that into consideration is how much material you have. So, oh, you get stabilized stroke. Sorry, I got distracted. But I don't know. I really want to put it here, but we have to get rid of the fan. But we can put it here and we can put the fan on the bottom. That's still a bad idea. Oh yeah, that wouldn't... you see me struggling right now, right? Alright, I got a different idea I think would really work. I don't know why I duplicated that. Now, the downside is you might have to use a little more material, but I think it's a little worth it. You can make this little extra area right here. Again, this kind of get rid of the compact aspects of it. So a little more research, I found that pi would be 16 millimeters. Wow, that is pretty thick. That's for the USB inputs. So now you can turn this side into a case, but like I said, you have to take into account thickness, which I did. So what I'm gonna do right now is, since this is the thickness and whatever of Raspberry Pi, I'm gonna just go here and then go in Boolean. Again, you can find the modifiers on here by typing Boolean. And you can add it to your favorite, really good tool. And then you gotta make a cutout, so it's gonna look like a Raspberry Pi case. So I guess essentially just adding a Raspberry Pi case to your CYBERDECK. Now, whenever you're making a cutout, I find that it's best to add a solidify to it, just a tiny bit of solidify, just so that you're not running into like, wow, I did not expect it to cut the whole thing. Like this whole thing, I don't really like that. So just by changing where the boolean is, actually gets rid of the thing I just didn't like. But make sure you, wow, crazy stutter, dude. Sure your thickness is what you want, because that matters a lot. So just add thickness so you're not running into, they're called facing rotations, which means the model is facing upside down from the inside, if that makes sense. Also, let me enable statistics. All right, I guess it's good to enable anyways. And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look that bad. Probably not the most optimal, but again, most of the things we made so far is probably not that optimal either. But I mean, since this is your Raspberry Pi size, it has to stay fixed like that. I don't know why I'm going off grid like this. I mean, you saw how big this guy's CYBERDECK is, so I guess, whoa, where'd he go? So I guess there's no limits on how big you want it, but in my opinion, the more compact it is, the harder it is to make, like especially something like this. But it is really cool. Like, ugh, I can't, it's taken me so much figuring out if I want to make something similar to this without copying it off. Because if I'm going to copy it, I might as well download it. It's probably a download link somewhere. I was joking about that, but you know, I'd rather do my own thing. Just saying, you know me. No, I'm kidding. So now we figure out our fan, we just got to make a cut and it's done. Yep, it's exactly what he wanted. Now we do get this little weird, wow, look at me zoom in. We do get this little weird space in between, and to fix that, I'll be honest with you, just put it up when in doubt. And now we fixed it, so we got the thickness. But before we actually